Well, good morning, everybody. My name is Mary Beth Seawald, and I'm the president and CEO of the Vegas Chamber of Commerce. I am so excited today to host this virtual presentation with our colleagues at the Nevada System of Higher Education, where we are unveiling me3. This is such an exciting day for us. At the Vegas Chamber of Commerce, we recognize the importance of growing a highly skilled workforce to support Nevada's business and industry, especially in the areas of information technology, healthcare, and of course, manufacturing. At a time when our state has to focus on retraining Nevada's workforce and also educating our youth to become the next generation of leaders and innovators, me3 is an absolute game changer. As a matter of fact, when I went through the process myself, the top career it said for me, I know you guys are going to be surprised about this, and I know Rory's probably going to tease me about this, but it said I should be a politician. So I don't have any designs of going into politics, but it was a fascinating process, and I just am so excited about it. So today I'm very excited also to be joined by NSHE Chancellor Melody Rose, former Chancellor Tom Riley, and Rogers Foundation CEO Rory Reed to learn more about me3. In just a little bit, NSHE Vice Chancellor Nate Mckinnon is going to conduct a virtual presentation of me3 for us. He's going to show us the future of career assessment tests, and it's truly fascinating. First, I would like to introduce the Nevada System of Higher Education Chancellor, Ms. Melody Rose. Chancellor Rose, welcome.
Today, celebrating the launch of this incredible project. me3 is going to do wonderful things for our students and others who really need to connect career to education. And we are just thrilled to be able to share this with the state today. I want to thank my predecessor, friend, and colleague, Tom Riley. Turn things over to him. He was really just a tremendous champion in terms of advancing this project. And thank you, Tom, and look forward to hearing from you.
Thank you, Chancellor Rose. Melanie, it's great to see you, and it's great to see everybody and be part of the launching of the Nevada M3. You know, about a year and a half ago, Chair at the time, Jason Geddes, and myself had each of the presidents and or provosts from all our institutions, at Arizona State University, to look at how we expand our online education. ASU is a kind of a leader in the realm, and we want to see how we could build more capacity in Nevada. Well, part of that visit, we saw a demonstration on ASU's me3. And it excited every single one of us. It was this platform that you could use on your iPhone or your laptop that helped targeting young people to look at career pathways. Back in my day, we did it with a pencil and little ovals to look at career pathways. They've used the science to now have these imaging and this platform that you can put on an iPhone. It was initially geared towards young people and high school students so they can begin thinking about what careers they had. And then once they did the imaging, it gave them their top careers that they may be really good at. Then it linked them to what the labor department has as far as what jobs are available, what salaries are, and then linked it back to ASU to say what type of degrees or certificates are available. Well, we all kind of sat and said, wouldn't that be really cool if we could do that for Nevada? But let's go one step further than Arizona State University, and let's link it to every one of our institutions. So that's kind of the planning we began, but we had a real challenge in that we had to find someone to actually underwrite and fund the initiative. So I actually, knowing the Rogers Foundation and their passion for pathways and for individuals going on to high school to secondary education, that's a pathway to social mobility in the middle class. I set up a meeting with my dear friend Beverly Rogers and Rory Reed. We had ASU do a demonstration, and they just loved the project. They saw the potential not only for high school students, but for those that are being laid off in the community in Nevada, looking at prisoners, looking at pathways, or looking at individuals who are going back and looking at a second career. In fact, Arizona State University found that not only when they targeted for high school students, they received a great response, they start seeing a great response for freshmen and sophomores who went to their schools, then said, hey, this is not what I want to do. I know my parents told me I want to do that, but I don't want this, and I panicked. So they took the instrument and then had something to talk to their parents or talk to their career pathways. So I'll end this by saying is I'm real excited that we're at the point of unveiling this in Nevada, and I have the deepest thanks to Beverly Rogers and Rory Reed for stepping up and actually underfunding this so this becomes available to every citizen in Nevada. That's what they did. They underwrote the project, they helped design it, and they make it available. The last thing I want to say is I really want to make a shout out to Nate Mckinnon, who actually worked with them to develop the mechanics, actually improved upon the instrument. I know President Crow won't like me saying this, improved upon the instrument for Nevada, and now we have this wonderful platform. So thank you for including me, and congratulations on NSHE, Chancellor Rose, and everybody for it.
Well, thank you, Tom. We really appreciate all your work on this amazing program. And now here representing the Rogers Foundation, as you mentioned, is their Chief Executive Officer, Rory Reed. Hi, Rory.
Thank you, Mary Beth. We're happy to be here today. I want to thank the chancellors for allowing us to be part of this event, and to Vice Chancellor Mckinnon for all his work on this. For those of you that don't know, the Rogers Foundation's mission is to transform lives through arts and education. And in the last 5 years or so, we've given over $90 million to students and programs and institutions to further that mission. All of this, as Chancellor Riley mentioned, is possible because of the tremendous generosity of Beverly Rogers. She's the chair of the Rogers Foundation, and I'm biased, but I don't think there's any doubt that she is the premier patron of the arts and of education in the state of Nevada. And we all owe a debt of gratitude to Bev. She's out there watching this, and I'm sure she's proud of this rollout. You heard Chancellor Riley used the word pathway. You're going to hear it a lot more in the few minutes that we're together this morning. And like NSHE, the Rogers Foundation has focused much of its energy on helping students identify pathways from where they are to where they want to be. And given all that's coming at them, it's often difficult for kids, even the most ambitious and well-meaning of students, to visualize what they want to be, and once they've done that, to figure out a way to get from their neighborhood to that place. Our foundation is particularly focused on vulnerable student populations, and for those students, this challenge is even more daunting. We believe that all students have the right to reach their full potential, and we sponsor the Writing Lab and the Nepantla program for first-generation students at Nevada State College. We sponsor CORE, which is a long-term, two-generational, holistic and collective impact model that serves under-resourced kids. These programs help kids find the life they deserve. We also award over $2 million in scholarships every year to Nevada students. And most of those students find their way to the campuses of NSHE's institutions. So when Chancellor Riley approached us, you could see his infectious excitement about me3 just a minute ago. And he had the same level of energy when he approached Bev Rogers and I. And what he told us, I think he had done his homework. He obviously knew something about our foundation. But what he told us is that this would help us continue to further our mission and continue helping students find a pathway to a better life, and that we could do it together. And we wouldn't be isolated in our silo with our programs, but we could join hands with Nevada's system of higher education and bring the same kind of opportunities that we provide to the beneficiaries of the Rogers Foundation programs to all Nevada students. So it took us about 30 seconds to realize that this was directly in our wheelhouse. And we're grateful for the opportunity that we have to be a part of this. We're thankful for Chancellor Rose's continuation of this program and her leadership, and for all the work that Nate Mckinnon's done to make it possible. So we're proud to be here. This was one of the easiest checks that we've ever had to write, and we look forward to Vice Chancellor Mckinnon's presentation so the whole state can understand what we've understood all along, that this is a way that we're going to bring Nevada students an opportunity to find their way into the world successfully. So thanks, and we look forward to continuing to work with you.
Well, Rory, thank you so much. And again, as you said, a huge shout out and thank you to Beverly Rogers at the Rogers Foundation. We know this wouldn't be possible without your work and certainly without hers. So thank you guys very much. We appreciate it. All right, and now for the moment we've all been waiting for, that demonstration of me3. Please welcome the Nevada System of Higher Education Vice Chancellor, Mr. Nate Mckinnon. Hi, Nate.
Hi, Mary Beth. Thank you so much for having me this morning, and thank you for the kind introduction. I am so excited to talk about me3 today and all of its capabilities. I would like to thank Chancellor Rose for her leadership on this, as well as former Chancellor Riley in the vision that he laid out. I'd like to also thank Mr. Reed and Ms. Beverly Rogers for their tremendous support to make this possible. And of course, our partners at Arizona State University, Alex Brown and Lisa Flesher at Ed Plus there, who helped make this actually come to fruition for Nevada. We are so excited to show you this tool today and show you all that it actually can do, and why we're juiced up about it, because of how the power of creating well-lit pathways for individuals to ultimately get to a career that aligns with their interests. So what I'm going to do is share my screen and show that to you in just a second. But before I do that, I want to just talk about the target audience for NSHE with me3. Our target audience with this is students who are in high school, even as low as middle school, but really in high school, as well as students who are currently enrolled at NSHE institutions or displaced workers. We have a lot of unemployed individuals across the state right now who know that they want to get some form of post-secondary education and a credential, but they don't know what for. They know that it's a good thing for them to do. They know that it's appropriate and will help them with a sustainable career, but they're not sure what they want to do. And we worked with ASU in adapting their me3 tool to Nevada's institutions of higher education so that all citizens of our state can use it to help them identify that potential career pathway. Now, one of our big interests in doing this is we have a lot of students, thousands of students across the Nevada system of higher education who are currently enrolled but either don't know what their major is or end up changing their major repeatedly throughout their college career. The problem with that is it slows them down. It causes them to burn financial aid, to waste time and energy and effort. And our data shows that students who end up doing that are less likely in the long run to succeed than students who start with a clear major and end up completing their degree. So if we have a tool that can help students from the beginning identify an appropriate interest in career field and the academic pathway that will get them there, it's a win for everyone. So with that, I'll go ahead and share my screen now so you can all actually see the me3 tool, and we'll walk through it together. Okay, I hope you are now looking at the me3 tool. And you should see here the homepage for me3 Nevada. I would mention that me3, as you can see here, is powered by Arizona State University. One of the interesting things about the approach that me3 uses is in the first 3 years of Arizona State University using me3, they had over 300,000 unique users play the game and use the tool to help identify a career pathway. We think it appeals to young people in particular. It's easy to use, it's fun to play, and it's a lot more interactive than a fill-in-the-bubble test filled with words and trying to figure out whether you like to use a hammer or a keyboard more. So when a student comes here, they can see that watch a video about what me3 is right here from our friends at Arizona State. they can click on this, and this will tell them about me3. me3 is ultimately generating what we call a RIASEC score: realistic, investigative, artistic, social, enterprising, and conventional. This is the most formidable career inventory. It's called Holland's Code and dates back to the late 1950s and is used by the U.S. Department of Labor. So we are identifying, and every one of us falls on this RIASEC score in some way. What me3 is doing is finding out exactly where each of us is on the RIASEC score based on our interests. The science is put together by a team of researchers at Arizona State University and has ultimately mapped the images with hard RIASEC scores so that we can get a sense of individuals' interests through the game. So we're going to click play now. I'd also point out we have links here to the Rogers Foundation, as well as NSHE and Arizona State as our partner. If you click on the Rogers Foundation link, there could be some scholarship opportunities there. So we'd encourage all students who need financial support to consider applying through that website as well. So we're going to click play now. And the first question is, what is our current level of education? And as you can see here, it's currently in high school, adult learner, all the way up to ultimately a doctoral degree student. Hopefully at that point, we're not trying to change our career entirely, but they still might enjoy playing the game. But so for our sake today, we're going to pretend that we are a student in a Clark County high school. We'll do currently in high school. So it's going to ask us where we are. You can play me3 from anywhere in the world, and it is free to do thanks to the generosity of the Rogers Foundation. There's no cost to the user to experience me3 and use it as a tool. Here's the legal mumbo jumbo that our attorneys put together. So here's showing us how the game works. It says, let's build your career profile. Look at the images and pick which one is most appealing to you. Go with your first instinct. So that's what we really encourage students to do, is to do their first instinct and not try and spend a lot of time going back and forth on which one interests them more. I'm going to go through this very quick today so that you can get a sense of opportunities and how it works. There are a total of 60 images. If I put my mouse over each one, you can see that this is ADA screen reader compliant and full ADA compliance as a website, so that a person with a sight disability would be able to play the game as well. So as we go through, there are 60 images in total that we ultimately are aligning towards to use our RIASEC score generator. And you can see that the images basically represent some form of career and whether or not you're interested in one or the other. So I'm just going back and forth quickly. I'm not putting as much thought into this as we'd expect a student for purposes of time in today's demonstration, but you can see that we're moving through and there's a bunch of different potential images that come up here. And what in the background is happening is the software is identifying each image is correlated with one of those words in RIASEC, RIASEC. And so what we're seeing is it is tabulating my RIASEC score in the background as I select each image. Now, some of these images will come back and will be paired against a new picture to see how you'll choose between those two. And I think there's already been some that we've seen a couple times here. I know we've seen this one before. And we've seen this one before. And then there'll be some new images introduced as well to try and figure out what is the appropriate RIASEC score for me as a student. So it tells me my progress down the bottom here, that I'm getting a little bit closer, 10 more to go. That's exciting. We want to make sure students hang in there. And once a student does this one time, they'll be able to log out, and I'll show you that in just a minute, and come back and see their RIASEC score again without having to worry about playing the game again. Now, they could play the game again if they really wanted to, but we don't want them to have to feel that they have to do that just to get back to their previous results, worrying whether or not they have the same exact choice. So here are my potential careers, but before I can see them, we need to get a little bit of information from each student. So we're just going to put in John Doe. We'll put in a fake birthday, high school senior, and a password. Right here is an opportunity, if the student checks this box, which we encourage them to do so, to learn more about the relevant educational opportunities from NSHE institution. When a student checks this box, the institutions that they match with will get their data to be able to proactively reach out to them and ask them if they're interested in applying. So now we get to see the results of our game that we played today. So we click continue to career results, and here it comes with our top career choices. On the left are the 3 that came up as number 1, 2, and 3, and on the right are the additional 22 that make out the full 25. So we can see down this. Because a student may not be interested in just their top 3, we want to show them other careers that generally align with their RIASEC score. Because each of these careers is taking into a certain amount the RIASEC aspects of that individual. So I can see here I computer systems analysts, computer network architects, and network and computer systems engineers. I picked a lot of computer-based images. I like computers and technology. But let's say I look at this and say, well, I am interested in this, but let me just look at some of the information on this. This is going to tell me what the average national pay is, the number of job openings, the average pay in Nevada, and the number of job openings in Nevada. I can also scroll down and see more information about what this job basically entails to know if it's something that interests me. Each one of these has this, and I can see here. So these are pretty high-paying jobs. But let's say I look at this and I say, well, I like that, but there's some other things I'm actually interested in that I don't see on here that I would much rather take into consideration and potentially have a degree in. So if I change that to, let's say I take out computer systems analyst, and instead I want to put in database administrator. There we go, database administrator. Similar photos, but different careers. So, and let's say I also don't want to be a computer network architect, but a software developer, because I know that that's very hot right now, and I can see that here in the number of openings, 99,000 across the United States just in the last year. Very exciting, very well paying. So now I'm going to click explore my top 3. Now I can come back and change these later on if I decide I want to, but for the sake of our time today, we'll go ahead and click explore top 3. Now we're going to build our career path links to explore the degrees. So we'll start with database administrator. This is going to show me all of the degrees across any Nevada system of higher education institution that allows me to potentially become a database administrator. These are what our faculty and career experts agree would be the logical choices of career academic pathways that lead towards the career of a database administrator. So I can see here I have the College of Southern Nevada Computing Information Technology, Associate of Applied Science. I also have a Bachelor of Information Science at UNR and an Associate of Science at TMCC. So I'm going to select CSN for this one. And I'd also point out I could toggle this and see what is available strictly online in case I don't want to be limited to going to an institution in person. And it is that CSN one. We can turn that off as well. So we'll select CSN for this path. Okay. Let's see, I can close that path and now look at this one. And the same thing here. This one I see I have some other options, a lot more degree options. Let's say I want to do the Bachelor of Science at University of Nevada, Las Vegas. So I select that one there as a potential. And my last one, I take a look at this. And for this one, there's a lot of options as well. I'm going to choose Western Nevada College Cybersecurity Associate of Applied Science. Okay, I've identified 3 paths that lead towards each of these careers. I can also compare the information on each of these next to each other to look at the skill sets, to look at what the job entails, and to look at the comparison in pay to help me lead towards it. Any one of these is a well-paying job, but I see that this one in the middle pays actually more on average than the other 2, and that excites me. So I'm now very interested in becoming a software developer for applications. Now I click Next. And this is all saved into John Doe's profile here. It is ultimately creating an opportunity where I will be able to see each of the careers and come back to this and use it at any possible time. Give it a second here as it tabulates. So we said this one. So ultimately, when I get to the end here, what it will do is allow me to see the community, the institutions that I've potentially identified, and I can go directly to their admissions pages and learn more about them. The other thing I can do is if I go back to this page here, I can see that I can actually look at the WNC degree program for Computer Information Technology, Associate of Applied Science. If I click that, it will bring me right to that and allow me to see all the details, the program requirements, and what types of jobs I might be able to get with this, and have an understanding of that, the general education requirements that might be a good pathway if I went to this institution for that program. So now I'm at a point where I can log out, come back, talk to a career advisor about it. I also could search for a different career if I didn't see one in particular that I want that came up in my list and I was interested in. I could search for it and find out information about that using this link. And I could look up individual degrees as well. I can replace a current career choice at any point in time by logging out and logging back in, and this data will all be there for me at all points in times. So Mary Beth, that is me3 in a nutshell. We're so excited about the opportunity it provides for our students. We think that the interactive level of this will be very exciting. We think it'll get students talking to each other about what their career choices came out to be using the RISX score generator. And we're very excited to have more and more students across our state use this as a tool to help identify the opportunities with an interest in their field and appropriate academic pathway to get them there. So I'll turn it back over to you, and thanks for having me today.
Gosh, Nate, that is so exciting. What an amazing resource. I assume this will be available through CCSD perhaps and resources like that?
Absolutely. At the end of today's presentation, we'll put the website link up on the screen. It's available for everyone. We're working actively with our school district partners and counselors to help roll it out and ensure that students are aware of it. But ultimately, we're hoping that folks watching this will help spread the word today.
Oh, absolutely. Well, thank you for all your work on this. What an amazing, I wish I had had this resource when I was in high school and college, although I don't know if politician would have still come up first, but I'm so excited for our students today to have such an amazing resource. And Rory Reed and to you at the Rogers Foundation and Beverly Rogers, thank you guys so much for making this resource available to our students today and to our young adults as well.
Pleasure. Thank you for letting us be a part of this program today, Mary Beth, and thanks to NSHE and its leadership for reaching out to us.
Well, so exciting. I'm not sure if we still have Chancellor Rose, if she's still on the line with us. But once again, I just want to thank you guys and good luck to our students out there. I know through the Vegas Chamber, workforce development and training is just critically important. So we at the Chamber, you have our word that we'll do everything we can to facilitate and get this resource into the hands of everybody who needs it. So thank you again very much. And thank you all for joining us today.